a huge win for Northwestern. They did the same thing last year at Northwestern. Purdue falls 92-88. This was a big win. Zach Edey and Braden Smith, all those guys, they fought hard, but at the end of the day, Buie and his arsenal were just too much. Justin, what were your thoughts on this game?
He made some incredible shots, and they were unconventional shots looking at him. Like, there were a couple times he was really off balance and he was still able to put it down. And Buie just put on a show in that one. I think this is going to be the story with Purdue all season long, is they're going to struggle with teams with good backcourts, because while their backcourt is improved over last year, they still do not have guys who can really check a dynamic playmaker at the guard position. And Edey can only do so much. You still have to set him up to be successful.
And he can only pass so well, too. That was another thing I noticed with Northwestern was, Edey was trying to make good passes, but at the end of the day, that Nebraska defense was just suffocating, not only to him, but the guards as well. It was just a really tough matchup for them, and they played with their hair on fire all game. Massive credit to them. Mike, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I know a lot of people like to talk about it when it comes to March, specifically about guard play and how far it can take you. But I think this just goes to show, even in, I guess, December now, same thing can happen. I mean, if you have good guard play, you got guys that can fill up the bucket. You can beat anybody. And I think Northwestern showed that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, Braden Smith and Fletcher Loyer in this game, 12 and 17, that's what you want. But 6 turnovers for Braden Smith, I was talking about him earlier in the year on this podcast, talking about, hey, his turnovers are up a little bit more, but his assists are also up. I mean, when you only have 1 assist by Fletcher Loyer, but 2 turnovers, that's not going to cut it. Yes, Braden Smith had 9 assists, but at what cost? With 6 turnovers in this game? I do still have concerns about Purdue. I think they're improving. I don't think they're the same team they were last year, but it does give me concern. I saw some Purdue fans saying fire Matt Painter. I don't think that's your answer, guys. Personally,
definitely not.
I know. I was going to say, I think Nebraska would happily take him if they wanted to get him
no
off
kidding.
their hands, so.
And then suddenly you'll start sprouting up 7'3" guys on your roster.
I think they just had like a 7'3" guy signed the other day or something like that. But I mean, Zach Edey, he went 15 for 20 from the free throw line. He got 17 shots off. Fletcher Loyer, he honestly didn't do bad shooting the 3 of 5. At the end of the day, it was just a shootout. Northwestern got the turnovers they needed to get, and they scored off of them well. Justin, you tell me, what does this say about this Northwestern team? Are we maybe thinking they're a little bit better than maybe we went into the year with them losing some key players, but Buie is still there? What are your thoughts?
I think as long as you have a guy like that on your roster, you have a chance. And I actually think Collins is a pretty solid coach. So I expect them to be a problem. I don't know if I'm putting them at the top of the league, but I think they're going to be a team that you have to be locked in to play against, or they will sneak up on you and take you down. So it wouldn't shock me if they end up being the top half of the league. And I think that if you don't come in locked into that game, they definitely are a team that can take you down and make you pay for it.
For sure. Mike, in this game, the Purdue had, 52 rebounds total. Northwestern had 27 rebounds total. I mean, when you nearly double the other team's total rebounds, you shouldn't be able to win. How did Northwestern manage to get this win with so few rebounds?
Yeah, I think the key is if you're looking at the box score and how the game ended up, Northwestern shot 50% from 3. They went 10 for 20. If you have that type of shooting night, if you're going 50% behind the arc, you can lose on the glass like that. I mean, that's a big margin. That's why the game went to OT. Ending up like that, a massive margin like that. But if the 3-point shot's not there for Northwestern, I don't think there's a chance that they win this game. But they had a great shooting night, and then they pulled them through.
Yeah, and I mean, Purdue's, their defense was running around the entire game, too. I think another key for them was how Northwestern was able to stretch the floor. Even Nicholson, who isn't, the best 3-point shooter in the world, he actually didn't even take a single 3 this game, but he was able to maneuver around the court with Zach Edey on him, but still get open, make the things happen that needed to happen. And of course, he only played 12 minutes in this game, but when he was in there, he played well. I thought Purdue had a far bigger rotation than what they needed to. Mason Gillis got 29 minutes, so
he was the one.
But go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was the guy that honestly he was the forgotten man in this game. He played heavy minutes and really wasn't overly productive. And kind of look at that, and it's like you can't have a dead spot on the court. And a game like this, that's the difference.
No, I agree. And that was what I was going to get to next. When you play nearly 30 minutes a game and you only provide 4 points, I mean, you just have to be a massive defensive, person to be able to play nearly 30 minutes and only get 4 points. But that's my concern with Mason Gillis. If he's not out there and producing and stretching the floor like he needs to be, I mean, he's had games where he just hit a bunch of threes and that's awesome. But if he's not able to do that, I don't know how much he offers to this team. Am I off there, Mike?
No, I agree. I mean, he only attempted 2 shots the whole game. I see he had 6 rebounds, but no assists, no steals. So, yeah, I guess you scratch your head and kind of wonder what he did provide in those nearly 30 minutes. I didn't get to watch the game, so maybe he was helping, stretch the floor, what have you, things that don't show up in the box score. But like you said, kind of the forgotten man. It didn't look like a great night for him. And if you're putting in that much time, I think you need to help out the team a little bit more than what he did.
Yeah, I agree, and I think Langborg has been this catalyst for Northwestern that they need.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Buie is the catalyst that really makes everything work, but he needs that right hand man, like an Adige was last year. And I just didn't know who that was going to be this year for Northwestern. I thought maybe Barnheiser, which Barnheiser has been fantastic this season too. He only had 8 points in this game, but he was still somebody that was able to make plays, only 1 turnover, he had 4 fouls. But when you go up against Zach Edey, that's going to happen. He's going to get 10 to 20 to sometimes 30 free throws a game. So you just got to rotate guys in there. But Northwestern, they had 2 guys foul out in this game. Justin, do you have any thoughts about officiating Zach Edey and whether this game was fair, how that goes? Just gauge you not only on this game, but just in general, officiating Zach Edey.
I'm a strong proponent of it's his job to adjust to everyone else rather than the refs adjusting to him. Like, you can't let him just abuse other people because he's bigger. He's got to learn to find a way to be as productive as everybody else on the court without fouling. And he does, you watch some of it. There's a couple of his dunks that I'm watching, and he's just throwing his body into him. Like, what do you do with that as a defender? You have good position, and he basically just shoves you out of the way. I'm like, that's like brother ball in the front yard playing, and you're just shoving your little brother out of the way and just throwing a layup. And it's like, I mean, that's kind of an offensive foul. Like, there's only so much you can do if you're going to body up like that. Now, you have to let him play to an extent, but we've seen so many times where elbows get hit, guys get drilled in the face, and it's like, it's his job to kind of learn to play around people without doing that. And if somebody takes an elbow in the face, that's got to be called an offensive foul in my book, like whether it's advertent or not.
Well, some of that's just the size of who he is, I mean, part of it too, when I was watching the game, I was thinking to myself, like, Zach Edey goes up for a rebound. He's boxed out, but he still gets higher than him. Is that an over the back? Is that I don't know how to call that if I'm the ref. Do you have any thoughts on that, Mike?
Yeah, and I know we'll get into the Creighton game a little later. They had a 7-1 guy that was playing center tonight, and they just go up and grab the rebound over a guy. I know I was screaming, particularly in the first half of the game, a little closer than what it ended up being, screaming for some over the backs. But yeah, if the dude's long enough, I don't know how you judge that as a ref. I know me personally, I think I agree with Justin. I think it's kind of their responsibility to learn to play around the guys without just resorting to bully ball. Maybe that's the little brother in me coming out. But it's almost like watching like prime Shaq or something where the dude's just bigger and stronger than everyone. And I don't know what you're supposed to do as a defender, which I guess credit to him for being born with the genetics to be that massive and athletic, but maybe a little more finesse is what I'd like to see personally, and maybe a little bit tighter calling on the refs for making him, perform that way.
Yeah, and it's so different to see how he gets called from game to game, because right when you get into the Big Ten, it's like you almost let anything go because they almost seem like they're used to calling him. But when you get into the tournament, or even when you watched him in the Maui earlier this season, it was a bit more ticky-tack than maybe you've seen at other times. So listen to the Big Ten Huddle. Please do like and subscribe. We appreciate that. If this was your first time listening, we are the Big Ten Huddle. We cover all things Big Ten football and basketball. We have a long episode every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, all at 9 o'clock. So come in, check us out, get in the chat, let us know what you're thinking. We would love to have you join us and learn more about the Big Ten.